Negotiating with your children is probably very similar to negotiating with terrorists. You know, I'd probably say I'm like a Trump level negotiator now, and I could end the war in Gaza based on the experience that I have with my 3 kids. My children are ages 4, 3, and 11 months. And even the baby, who is non-verbal at this time, I also feel the need to negotiate with him. And it's a battle sometimes. Recently, my daughter, she's sassy like I am. She wants to get her way. And I had planned a special surprise for her. I said, hey, you know, I'm gonna take you to the nail salon. We're gonna get our nails done. It's gonna be mommy-daughter time. And all I need you to do is behave well tomorrow. And I need you to, you know, be good with your brothers. And she had a horrific morning, like not behaving well. I gave her multiple chances to turn around her behavior. We were headed to breakfast and I said, hey, you know, you weren't great when we were getting ready, so let me sit you down one-on-one and figure out, you know, what's going on here. Let me remind you, we've got nail salon plans, so please behave if you want to make it to the nail salon. So we went to breakfast. The bad behavior continued. So in the car, you know, I lost it and I said, I warned you 3 times not to kick your brother. I told your brother not to kick you because the other child was also gonna get a special trip with his dad. And I said, you're not going. And I actually stuck through it and I told her, you're not going anywhere. And my husband was super happy about it because he got to go instead. But the moral of the story with the negotiation, after I got home and she was all pouty because she didn't get to go, she was disappointed, I said, hey, you know, you didn't get your way this time. These are the things you gotta do next time. Are you gonna be good? Yes. And I said, great, you exhibit these good behaviors and we're gonna bake a pie from scratch, which is another thing that she'd really wanted to do recently. And we gave her another goal. We negotiated, you know, what this good behavior would entail. And she actually behaved really great for the rest of the day. And we were able to make that pie the next day. So when you're negotiating, and this is something that I see in my business a lot too, it's when you're negotiating prices sometimes, you're negotiating what procedure you're gonna do on a patient, and you can't let like fear of losing something or fear of not getting what you want like hold back the negotiation. So when I told my daughter, hey, you're not going to the nail salon, what runs through my mind is the mom guilt of like, oh my God, I already worked so much. I promised her that I would take her. Like if I take this away from her, she's gonna be so upset, blah, blah, blah. Do I want to deal with those consequences? And as I become a more experienced parent, I realize that kids need these situations and they need the parent to really be firm. So just like I'm firm in my business, I have to be firm at home. So take a strong stance when you're negotiating with your terrorist little kids sometimes, because they're definitely going to be happier about it. And where I picked up some of my skills, definitely experience has been the biggest teacher, but I've also read quite a few books, you know, books about emotional intelligence, about you know, sales strategies, books about different tactics that you can use. And on that note, I've also taken, you know, online parenting classes. I've read books about parenting. And when I put everything that I've learned together, I think that's when I'm the most effective parent, because I like to do evidence-based things. I want to know, you know, if you did this, what kind of outcome did you get? I don't want to reinvent the wheel every single time. I know that like every kid, it's its own little experiment, and how I parent the older one may not be the same as the middle one and the younger one. But through all my experiences, I think that negotiation, it's important at home just like it is at work. And it's really built up my confidence seeing that my kids are super well adjusted at school, that the teacher, you know, sends back, she did great letters, same way that with my middle child. And even though that you're gonna face, you know, like bumps in the road, none of these kids are gonna die because you negotiated with them, or you were like a strong parent, or you actually followed through with the consequences that you're like always screaming at them about. So don't be afraid of the kids or the negotiations at work.